Indonesian inflation has been at 653.3%.
Before that, I will also explain about inflation and deflation.
What is inflation? Well, inflation is a process of increasing price in general and continuously an increase in the price of one or two goods. One cannot be called inflation unless the increase extends to other goods. And you can see in the picture, the value of currency of rupiah is increasing. What is a deflation? Deflation is a condition that shows that decline in the price of a good or service continues to decline in the relatively short period of time. A decrease in the price of goods or service has an impact on other sectors such as a decrease in the worker wages. For illustration, you can see the picture. Did you know Indonesian inflation has been at 653.3%? In the old order era or before 1966, macroeconomic management was not controlled. The production of goods was insufficient and the printing of money was not controlled, causing inflation and the shock of the rupiah. And next, the government in 1959 implemented a monetary loosening policy to overcome inflationary pressure. For example, by issuing a credit ceiling provision for each bank individually on April 8, 1959. Then on August 25, 1959, the government also carried sounding or cutting 500 rupiah and 1000 rupiah denomination to 50 rupiah and 100 rupiah respectively. A policy of freezing current and time deposit of 19% over 25,000 rupiah was also issued and changed to long-term saving. The devaluation of the rupiah exchange rate was also carried from the previous 111.4 rupiah US dollar to 545 rupiah per US dollar. Then the peak of the inflation rate occurred in 1966 when the inflation rate was 653.3%. The increase in the money supply occurred due to government action in the financial sector in August 1959 and was followed by an increase in the price of goods both in the interior and in big cities. In addition, the issue of new rupiah currency on December 13, 1965 also raised the inflation rate to its highest level. Meanwhile, from the private sector, the increase in credit extension was due to higher domestic inflation, which was reflected in the increase in price for goods and services. The occurrence of inflation is caused by various factors, namely Demand pull inflation. This inflation is caused by the high demand or public attractiveness of a goods or service, which is usually triggered by a flood of liquidity in the market. So that demand is high and change in the price level. This increase in demand causes the price of production factor to increase. Pressure on production or distribution or cost past inflation. This inflation is caused by the continuous increase in production cost in a certain period of time. Usually, this type of inflation is influenced by the pressure of increasing factor cost of production, scarcity of production, and/or scarcity of distribution. Mixed inflation. This inflation occurs due to an increase in supply and demand caused by an imbalance between the two. For example, when the demand for a good or service increases, then a supply of good or service decreases while the substitute or limit or non-existent. This imbalance will result in inflation. For that, here are ways to deal with inflation. First, using fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is a measure to deal with the problem of inflation by regulating government spending and revenue. You do this by saving on government spending. This method has been proven to be able to overcome inflation in a country. In addition to reducing its expenditure, the government can take other ways, namely by increasing the tax rate for households and companies. This method can reduce the level of consumption of consumers, so that the price of goods can fall. Second, using monetary policy. Monetary policy aims to maintain monetary stability so that people's welfare can be improved. The first way of monetary policy is to limit the amount of money in circulation. The central bank must make decisions and determine the availability of cash at other banks. Another way is to increase the interest value so that many people are interested in saving. The next way is to use an open market operating policy, which means selling securities to reduce the amount of money circulation. A part of fiscal and monetary policy, the government can also tackle inflation by increasing production and the number of goods on the market, as well as setting maximum price for certain types of goods. Based on the increase in price, inflation is divided into four types, namely: first, mild inflation, increase in price below 10% in a year. Second, moderate inflation, increase in price between 10% until 30% in a year. And next, heavy inflation, increase in price between 13% until 100% in a year. And the last, hyperinflation or uncontrolled inflation, increase in price over 100% in a year. Based on the amount of influence on price, inflation is divided into three, namely: first, inflation clause. Inflation clause is the price increase that occurs is only related to one or two specific of goods. Second, open inflation. And open inflation is a general increase in price for all goods. And the last, hyperinflation. The attacks of inflation are so intense that the price of goods or service keep changing and increasing all the time. As a result, people cannot hold money any longer because the value of money continues to decline. That's all from me. I'm sorry for any mistake. Thank you for watching. Dadah, see you next.